I'm Jay, and in this video we're going to go over how we harmonise a melody in C major using the three primary chords of C, F and G. Have you ever seen a pianist sit down to pick out a melody that they've never played before? If you have, then you'll have noticed how within seconds of finding the melody, they'll start adding chords to it. Sometimes even at the same time, they'll work out the chords as they're working out the melody. How do they do that? To a pianist, this is a basic skill that they gain from very early on in their development. To a guitarist, this seems like a hugely advanced thing to be able to do. The big secret that enables pianists from very early on to be able to harmonise a melody is this. You only need to use the three primary chords. This is how pianists start doing it. Sure, it might not sound as cool as it could, or it might not sound quite right at times, but it will work. It will be good enough. It works because every single note in the scale of C major can be found in at least one of these three chords. That's how basic harmony works. For a chord to fully harmonise with a note, the note needs to be in the chord. Let's go through each note of a C major scale and see which chord it can be found in, and thus which chord we can use to harmonise it. So our root note of C can be found in the chords of C and F. D, the major second, can be found in the chord of G. Excuse me. E, the major third, can be found in the chord of C. F, the perfect fourth, can be found in the chord of F. G, the perfect fifth, can be found in the chord of C and in the chord of G. A, the major sixth, can be found in the chord of F. B, the major seventh, can be found in the chord of G. And that brings us back to our C again. So there we have it. As you can see, most notes can only be harmonised with one chord, so that makes life very easy. It's only the root and the perfect fifth that have two options. So that's the theory. Now let's play it. Hopefully now you can play the chords of C, F and G all over the fretboard, both as big chords and more importantly as triads. If you can't do that, then you're going to struggle with this next bit, and you should really go back to the previous two videos in this series. I'll put a link in the description below. If you don't even know the scale all over the fretboard, then you need to watch the whole series from the start. I will put a link to the playlist in the description below. So let's do this in a higher octave C major scale. We'll harmonise our one octave C major scale in fifth position with the root on the G string. Now, most of the time, a melody note will be on top of a chord. So starting with our root note of C, now here's where you need your solid knowledge of triads from the previous video. Let's play that C on top of a C triad. We also know it can be harmonised with an F chord, so let's also play it at the top of an F triad. You notice it's a first inversion triad for the C and a root position triad for the F. Now the D harmonises with a G chord, so let's play it at the top of a G chord. A G triad, I should say. The E uses a C chord. The F uses an F chord. The G can either use a C or G chord. Here's the G chord or the C chord. A uses an F chord. B uses a G chord. And then we're back on C, which again we could do a C chord or an F chord. Now let's play through the whole harmonised scale. We'll use a C chord on the root and a G chord on the perfect fifth. C chord on the root, G on the perfect fifth. So we have C. Okay, so now let's harmonise a lower octave C major scale. We'll do it in second position with our root notes on the A string. Now, of course, the notes are lower, and we don't have enough strings to be able to put the note of the scale on the top of a chord. So we're going to play these notes of the scale on the bottom of each chord. So we're going to be harmonising a bass line, in effect, another thing that you should be able to do. So again, let's harmonise our root note with a C chord. Now let's try it with an F chord. Now the D uses a G chord, E uses a C chord, F uses an F chord, G uses either a G chord or a C chord, A uses an F chord, B uses a G chord, and C again with a C or an F. So again, let's just go through that. The whole harmonised scale, we use a C chord on the note of C, the root, and a G chord on the perfect fifth. Okay, so we have So you should try doing this in each of the 4 one-octave scale pattern positions: root on E, root on A, root on D, root on G. This may seem hard at first and a lot of work, overwhelming even. Well, it depends on how well you've learnt your triads, really. But as with most things, as you get used to it, it doesn't seem as hard. After all, we're doing all of this with just 3 small triad shapes and 1 small one-octave pattern. That's it. Finally now, let's harmonise an actual melody. So as with part 3, we're going to choose a simple, childish melody. We'll do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star again. We're going to go back to 5th position with the root note on the G string for our scale, a higher octave so that we can put the chords beneath the melody. First of all, let's play the melody. A work of genius. So we start on the root, big jump up to the perfect 5th, step up to the 6th, and then it's basically stepping down the scale all the way to the root. Now then, let's harmonise every note. The root we will harmonise with a C chord, and the perfect 5th we will also harmonise with a C chord. They're the ones with the 2 options, of course. So here we go. There we have it. With the 1st and the 5th, you can normally tell which one of the 2 is needed. It would just sound really weird if we did the F chord on the root. Unless you wanted to put some sort of suspension in there. The G, I don't think it would matter if we did it with the G chord. That's not too bad, is it? So sometimes you've got a choice. We have in this example harmonised every note of the melody. We don't always do this, especially with faster moving melodies, but ironically, when you start changing the chords less, you start getting more advanced harmonies. This is why it's a good idea to build a solid harmonic foundation by using simple changes on every note of a simple melody. To demonstrate, if we played Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, harmonising all just with the C chord, you'd hear how we start getting more advanced sort of jazzy harmonies. Yeah, Sorry, I couldn't resist it. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the series. This is the last one. Please like me and subscribe. It's free and it makes me feel loved.